afternoon. Welcome to my channel. This is only my second video. I posted my first video like 4 weeks ago. Let's just say the month of July was kind of crazy. My name is Jamie. Welcome to my channel. And here we talk about books, journaling, and whatever else I decide to talk about. So today, I'm going to get you guys caught up on my month of July. So in my month of July, I ended up in a boot for my right foot that I am in the process of trying to heal from a past injury. So that was fun. Also, I ended up having to have surgery on a whole other issue in July. So I had to have that done, recover from that. We also had our fair in July, which I didn't get many pictures of, but I will post what I have. And my family came to town. My sister, her 4 kids, my mom, my stepdad, and their dog. So my month of July was pretty chaotic. Needless to say, I only got 4 books read, but that's okay because that's kind of my average. But none of those 4 books were an actual physical copy. While my family was here, we went to Fort Collins because my sister's kids, 3 of the 4, have never been to the mountains, have never seen the mountains. So we decided to take a trip west to Fort Collins, Colorado. If you all don't know, I'm from Colorado. So we went up to a little area called Watson Lake, where one side is a lake and the other side is the river, and we let the kids play in the river. They collected rocks. They had a blast. I've got some pictures. We went to Barnes & Noble and we spent, I think, maybe an hour or so walking around Barnes & Noble. I just remembered that I have a Barnes & Noble haul that I want to show you guys. So I had to run downstairs and go get it. And if you can hear the clacking, my wonderful dog decided she wanted to join us. So, like I said, we went to Barnes & Noble. We went out to eat. We just spent a whole day wandering around the mountains, basically. I had an eventful July, but moving on from there. So first we'll go into what I got from Barnes & Noble. So I picked up 2 books. I picked up Babel, which I want to read. I've kind of been debating it back and forth. I haven't fully decided until I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. So I got Babel. And then I also picked up The Atlas Six. I don't really know what it's about, but I've heard some good things, so I thought I'd go ahead and give it a try. Those are the 2 books that I got on my Barnes & Noble trip, and I just haven't taken the stickers off yet. Out. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. See, here's my little puppy. Actually, she's not a puppy. She's a little old lady. She's about 12 years old. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old, huh? I'm gonna let her out. I'll be right back. So the 4 books that I read in the month of July was, excuse my voice, The Book That Wouldn't Burn and The Book That Broke the World, which are 2 of a trilogy. The other one doesn't come out until next year, I believe in April. So now I get to wait for that. The Book That Wouldn't Burn, as I said in my last video, if you watched it, I wasn't impressed. It was an okay book. It had a lot of multiple, kind of a time traveling book. So it comes from multiple different generations and different years, but it's the same people who are basically time jumping inside of a library and exploring the town outside of the library. So when the book starts, you meet the main characters and you realize that they're 2 completely different people. One is basically a human and one is not. I don't want to give much away. The human ends up going to the school to become a librarian, or to work in the library, I guess you can say. And from there, it's just a whirlwind of things. And inside of the library, there is also a thing called the mechanism. And if you take a book into the mechanism, you get to live out that book. But what's crazy is the other character, I believe his name is Aviar, I can't remember. He lives in the library several years apart from the main character and the other main character. And he's stuck in the library. The library has collapsed in on itself. The library is basically built inside of a mountain. And they end up crossing paths and meeting each other while they're time jumping. I'm not a big, huge fan of time jump books. I'm not big into time machine type things, but it's okay. The book was good. The world building was very well written. The only problem is you can only describe a library so many times. And I said that in my last video too. So book number 2, The Book That Broke the World, was actually a lot better. Because the first book, you're learning your people, you're learning the worlds that they're in and all of the other elements that are combined. In book 2, you get more of a story, and it was so much better. In book 2, they have to cross paths again. They have to find each other. You get more of the story built up. Do finally find their way out of the library. I don't want to go too depth into explaining the book because I don't want to give away the first book. So I gave the first book 3 stars, and I think I gave the second book 4 stars. I would have to get in and look. I am excited to read the third one. I will finish the trilogy. I'm excited to see where everything goes, how it ends. But with that, we'll move on to, I read book 3 in the Blood and Ash series, and it is called The Crown of Gilded Bones. And it was really good. I really, really enjoy this series. This is basically the way that I rated it on my Notion is these are books that will live in my head rent-free. I love these books. I will be reading them again. I'm obsessed. In book 3, we learn more about Atlantia, and we learn more about the Wolven, which, Kieran, out of all of the characters in the book, Kieran is my boy. Yes. Poppy ends up making it to Atlantia, and so she has to learn how to live the other side of what she's used to. And again, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give the first two books away. There's a lot that goes on, and it's very intriguing and it's very good. If you have not read the series, I highly suggest that you do. Let's go ahead and we'll move on to the fourth book that I read in the month of July. And I am going to refer to this series as MF, because if I say the words, I know YouTube will not like it. It is a series by St. Abbey. Most of you probably know who it is. I read the first book in this 5-book series called Sidetracked, and I was less than impressed. My sister recommended me the books. They're short reads. I think the longest one is probably like 160 pages. So they make good for if you need to add those books at the end of the month so you can reach your book goal. I didn't mind the book. I believe I gave it 3 stars. It just wasn't what I was expecting. The cover of the books are kind of misleading, so there's that. But I enjoyed it overall. My biggest issue with it is the books are so short that there's not a lot of character building and there's not a lot of world building. And world building is my, that is my creme de la creme when it comes to books. I love world building. I want to hear it all. So I gave the book 3 stars. I really enjoyed the book. I'm not going to say that I loved it. So in the first book, we are following a lady who is a serial killer. That is not a spoiler alert, just so you are aware. My dog is knocking on the door. That is not a spoiler alert, just so you're aware. Right from the get-go, you know she's a serial killer who ends up dating the SSA who is the head of her case, who is hunting her down, needless to say. It's a very good storyline altogether, but the first book is very short and it's very not all that informative. There's 5 books in the series. All 5 books could actually be squished together into one big book, but they broke it apart into 5 different books. So if you're going to read them, you can read them all as one, or you can read them whenever you feel you need to pick up a short book. I read the first one, and then I didn't read the next ones until August, which is the month I'm filming this in. They are very good books, but I will update you on that later. Those are my reads, my 4 reads for the month of July. Like I said, I do not have the physical copies. I read The Book That Wouldn't Burn and The Book That Broke the World. I got them from the library, so they have already been returned. The Crown of Gilded Bone was my audiobook for the month, which normally it doesn't take me a month to listen to an audiobook, but it's 24 hours long, and I only listen to audiobooks when I'm commuting. So there's that. And then Sidetracked, I read on my Kindle. So I guess basically that's my update for the month. Like I said, it was pretty chaotic. But we got through it. We're in the month of August. And in the month of August, I have some plans. I'm building my Halloween profile. I'm building my Halloween reading list, which I'm going to start like spooky season. Like I've already got my Halloween decorations up. I'm going to start my spooky season reads in September because I want to draw it out a little bit longer. So I've got a couple books that I've got listed. If you've got any book recommendations for the spooky season, let me know down below. You can leave me a mountain emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you guys have a awesome day, evening, night, whenever you're watching this, morning. And I will see you in the next one.